Today on Nerd and Normal, your privacy and security online, how AI is making it better or worse.
Welcome to Nerd and Normal with Matthew and Gareth, opening your mind to the world of technology. So let's get started.
Matthew, and a very good day to you, sir.
G'day to you, copper. How you going this glorious day?
Look, dinkum die Aussie you are. I'm excellent. Top of the trees, and the koalas are all whistling and singing like magpies, which don't sing. Anyway, that's enough of the stupid analogies. AI. We've got to talk about AI again. There's a phrase. I think the phrase is called data privacy nightmare. It's frequently used with anything to do with cybersecurity when the experts talk about it. AI doesn't just collect data. AI doesn't just collect data, however vast it may be. It apparently digests it, ingests it, repurposes it, and sometimes accidentally or on purpose exposes it at a scale never seen before. How accurate is that observation?
That is exactly right. As someone who's right now building my own AI on my own systems, I know exactly the situation that happens. The AI just pulls everything in from the internet. It doesn't know right from wrong. It doesn't know what's personal, what's public. It just pulls it all in and can possibly find, stores it all there, and then you ask it the right question, it gives you everything.
So it's a trick of knowing what the right question is. Does that mean that a hacker who's brighter than me, because I'm only normal, that means a hacker would be able to ask the right questions and get access to your security?
Very easily, because it comes down to what the data is that's been ingested by the different AIs. That's one thing that was found actually with ChatGPT a few years ago. They actually found that it ingested a whole lot of data from a whole lot of companies, including the great Optus debacle we had a couple of years ago here in Australia. And it actually did then pass out personal details to people who just asked it, can it give them details on a certain person? And it just gave it all out freely.
If I have posted a review of a restaurant or a business of some kind, or I've uploaded my resume for looking for a job, or I've shared a photograph, or I've written a blog, I'd write blogs on TikTok, is it likely that they are all being absorbed by AI and at some time in the future could be used against me by a hacker?
So in theory, everything you post on the internet, whether it be on a certain website or just openly on blogs and whatnot, you should assume it's going to be absorbed by AI and then used in the future by AI to sort of show who you are. If someone asks who Gareth McRae is, the AIs that absorbed all this stuff will get there and say, oh, Gareth McRae, he's such and such and such and such, he does such, and that gives you all the details. The problem comes down to whether the websites you've put your resume on, for example, if they put the resume into an open online system or if it's enclosed within their own system. If it's enclosed, that it can't get out to the internet, then it's safe. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. So yes, you should be very cautious of anything you do on the internet, whether you think it's safe or not. Think of it as it's always not safe and that AI will absorb it and then give it to everyone that asks all about you.
A lot of government instrumentalities, you might apply for a job or you've got some need to negotiate with them or dialogue with them. They ask you to prove who you are by saying, send us a copy of your scan of your Medicare, send us a scan of your license, send us a scan of your passport. Well, if I send it, doesn't that automatically then become accessible by AI on the net?
Only if the places that it's being saved to aren't secured, which these days you would hope most businesses and government organisations are keeping them secured. Wasn't always the case though. I remember many, many years ago, when you're doing things on the internet, they used to ask you, can you send us an email with your photo license? Can you send us an email with a utility bill? And they would take them off the emails, save it to their system, and then use that for identifying who you were. Now, those hopefully don't occur very often these days, or at all. But if you are sending things onto an internet website because it's asking you to upload those things, it should hopefully be saving it offline. Now, there are ways you can write programs on websites that get the item off your system, so you send it to their website. It should then save it to a system that's not on the internet at all. Do they all do it? No. Can they all do it? Yes.
You and I quite frequently communicate via email. Now, if I have a friend who is used to using AI and they ask AI to send me an email and give it the email address, and I look at it and open it, isn't my is doesn't AI, if it's asked AI to do it, doesn't AI then have access to me via the email, and isn't that a nightmare, a risk?
That's a good question to ask, and it's one that's very difficult to answer because different AI systems have different ways of doing things. So, for example, the main ones, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, all those things, they can't send emails out. You can create the content on those systems and then put it on an email and send it out, in which case they don't have access to that. There are some AI systems, and the one that I'm making actually is one that can do it. I can send it an email, it can reply to my email directly. If you send an email to my AI's email address, which I won't be passing out to anybody ever, it will absorb that email inside of itself. If it's from somebody it doesn't know, it just sits there and tells me it's received an email. Doesn't get there and reply to it, but it can. There are other AI programs that can literally receive an email, draft the email for the person that is receiving the email, and then reply to it. And in that situation, yes, that means that AI is then absorbing the stuff and then can be a security risk for not just the person sending the email to them, but also the person who actually owns that AI.
You said at as the intro, the good and the bad of AI. Well, so far I haven't heard any good. I've only heard bad, potentially. What's the good?
So good comes down to you can ask AI yourself about yourself. And there's been a case, I was listening to a radio this week with someone, I forget what station it was. It's the ABC actually, in conversations with Richard Glover, where they'll talk. He's had the one of the startup people from Wikipedia, and he actually, one of the tests he does with all the AIs he deals with is he asks the AI about himself and about his wife. And he finds out the information the AIs have, whether it be a local one on a computer or one of the big ones that they have on the internet, if it knows about him and his wife. And he then uses that to work out how correct it is and how safe he is. That's one way to make sure you're safe, is literally ask the AI about yourself. Does it know who you are? Does it know anything about you? Does it know your date of birth, your license, your address, your phone number? It will get there and tell you that openly.
So you say, tell me about Gareth McRae.
Yes, and it will get there and literally tell you all the stuff that it has about you that it's been able to pull in from all the websites that it's pulled stuff from over the internet.
What about if there are 6 Gareth McRaes? How do we differentiate which one's which?
The same as happens in the past. You just drill down with more questions. So you ask the first thing, say, I want to know more about Gareth McRae. It gives you, Gareth McRae is a Scandinavian artist who creates massive, great big paintings that cover the whole fields. No, I don't want that one. I want the Gareth McRae from Australia. And it gives
How
you
did you
Gareth
know
McRae.
about my secret life?
And then gives you Gareth McRae, who lives in Brisbane, who is 20 years of age and gets there and owns a multi-billion-dollar company. You say, no, I want the one who works in radio. It will then give you details about yourself.
Okay. Look, for me, I'm the normal, you're the nerd, so nerd this out. Cybersecurity has, for me, always been a game of cat and mouse between the hacker and the non-hacker. With the development of AI, bad actors have just been really upgraded. They've been given a tool that they didn't have before that they can use to start creating hacks from companies that are all fictitious but appear real. Isn't the development of AI created a dilemma for nerds like you, normals like me?
It's done for everybody. So they do the good and the bad. You get those bad hackers who get there and now use the AI tools to create programs or websites or systems that can trick people into doing things. But then you have the good hackers that get there and use AI to help understand what the bad hackers have done. You get the good hackers that get there and use the AI to find security flaws in systems, tell the companies about it, and then they get patched that way. Claude and Anthropic actually do this a lot. They use their Claude system to go off and check for vulnerabilities in websites for large businesses. They tell the companies that this exists, and they go.
You mean Optus didn't use that?
Unfortunately, no. Nor did Medibank. But then you have people who are using. So I know for somebody that's doing this right now myself, it takes me forever just to read through basic bits and pieces that can be multiple pages long. I can give that to an AI and say, can you read this and give me the basic bits and pieces, whether a document or a program? It'll say the program is doing this document says this, in the space of 10 seconds. So it cuts down the development time and the understanding of what these hackers have created to just a couple of seconds rather than hours and days and weeks.
So if I typed into Claude ChatGPT or whatever it is, but let's say with Claude, if I typed in, tell me why Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address is the best speech ever given in English, isn't it only going to then search all the data available and look at the different comments and reviews and then summarize them and provide that to me?
It sort of does that. But it also modifies it. So you're thinking of AIs having all the answers. So what happens is it gets all the information. It says, oh, this is all the stuff here. Yes, this is what I've learned. But then it doesn't know what it's going to say till it's finished saying it. Every word it says is mathematically calculated to be in that spot. So it will summarize the things, but it will also guess the answers. And this is quite often what happens. This is where hallucinations occur. This is why asking questions like that's for opinions, doesn't work very well. You're asking for facts. You're asking it to answer what made that speech really good. What was the defining part of the speech? Okay. It can give you that.
You said it will guess. I didn't think AI had the capacity to guess. I would have thought its answer would have been, sorry, can't answer that. That's an opinion.
In theory, AI should do that, but AI, even Claude, which is based on making sure it does things in the best possible way, will always get there and try and give you an answer. Whether the answer is correct or a guess or a close approximation of the truth, it'll come close to it. Because you'll always notice on all the AI websites now, it always has AIs can make mistakes. All of them say it. Because the AI is programmed, because trained to be helpful. And by being helpful means give you an answer. Not the answer, an answer. And that's the problem we have.
It would seem as though AI's progress is on a geometric scale rather than an arithmetic scale. So as a nerd, what would your prediction AI will be in 12 months' time able to do?
No different to what it's doing right now. It'll still be used for cybersecurity, still be used for playing with toys, it'll still be used for businesses to try and cut down on staff costs. All those sort of things will still occur. Should they all be occurring? No, but they will be occurring. What I see as the future is in a few years' time, as the industry works towards sort of stabilizing productivity, stabilizing the profitability of it, and stabilizing how the programs work, they will find out ways to make sure it's not just guessing things to give an answer, but it's able to actually work things out by itself. Just, again, to give you an idea of what I'm doing with my AI, it goes off for roughly 14 hours a day. I've got it going off to searching the internet and randomly looking at topics to absorb into itself. And I'm chucking stuff at it. It goes off and works out what topics it's going to get there and do. It absorbs information that can then occasionally give me what it's learned. But at the end of the day, it's got to learn from the whole internet, because that's where the data is going to come from. What's happening, though, is these AIs that exist now haven't learnt what's happening right now. In the case of Gemini, it can go and search the internet pretty easily, but they've absorbed stuff over decades of the internet, and not all that stuff is correct or truthful, to put it bluntly. So it's going to get there and use that database that it has absorbed and try and answer things with that. And they're all the same boat. They've all got the same training database. They've all started the same way. The most reliable answers will come from things like Gemini, which actively search the internet on a regular basis.
As you can see from the photo behind me, it's a picture of the USS Missouri, which is one of the famous battleships of the world. And its technology was basic. Could fire a gun and sail. With what's going on in the Ukraine, what's going on in Iran, what's going on in Gaza, etc., and with the development as the Ukrainians have been able to develop the drone system so effectively and so quickly, and that's the key. Do you ever see, again, it's a nerd question for future asking, do you ever see a situation where humans won't be engaged in war? It'll be AI versus AI? Is that a science fiction possibility?
You're watching too much Terminator these days. Unfortunately, war is created because people want what they want. There's a certain politician in the world currently that wants certain things.
A politician was the wrong word, but go on, sorry.
that wants certain things, but doesn't understand the fact that he can't always get what he wants. There's consequences to his actions. Now, in that situation, AI is not going to be the problem. AI is not the problem for that person at all. Their ego is the problem, and that's what's always going to create wars. AI would be a tool eventually to be used for things like cybersecurity, extortionary things that they're using, and for things like automated drone services. But at the end of the day, war is between humans and humans, and it will always be that case.
Look, without naming a country, a certain country or countries, 2 or 3, have been identified as being some of the major hackers on the planet. Is AI going to enhance their capacity?
It already has. It already has. Those countries are already, the governments of those countries are already actively using AI to develop software and websites that take advantage of security holes and take advantage of manipulation of people to actually get them to fall for things. And if it's not just the AI creating it, but what happens is cybersecurity experts regularly publish their findings. That way it's shared with everybody what the different findings can do. The government organisations that are doing this then take that information into the AI and then make sure the AI knows about it to program the things to take advantage of their security flaws. So it's the humans feeding the stuff to AI that's causing more and more grief.
Isn't it amazing how George Orwell got all this right without using the term AI when he wrote 1984? Just amazing.
Just 40 years too early.
Yeah, you did say at the start the good and the bad. You didn't mention the ugly. I think AI has a potential to be the bad and the ugly if misused by certain politicians who have a big ego.
Not mentioning any names at all or colours of skin.
No, not at all, no. Or their wave back hair. No, not at all. Mate, it's always a pleasure.
If you want to get there and mention the names, though, why not comment below us down there? Get there and comment about
please.
What you're talking about. It's always there.
It starts with T.
No, I'm not saying anymore. I don't want to get bombed out of existence.
Yeah, it was an AI drone. But look, please like and comment and email and everything you can. We'd love you to be part of the family, and we'd love to develop this with what you want. And we don't know what you want unless you tell us. So please like, comment below. And who is that orange-coloured politician?
Or maybe he can email us and ask us some questions. nerdanormalpodcast@gmail.com. Yes, email us questions too. A question episode's up very soon as well. We're due for one. I've got some questions lined up. We'll do that soon as well.
And AI won't track you down.
No. Next week, though, more AI. I'm going to talk about my AI that I'm developing next week, though.
Oh, you mean you're going to be... I'm not going to go there. You have a lovely week, sir.
Bye, Gareth. See you next week.